Life Coding University, training humans to train themselves. Today, what I want to do is talk to you about hats. Okay, um, we're not always the same person, as you probably already know. Okay, so for instance, let's just take a student. Sometimes they're a student, but sometimes they're a football player, a son, a friend, uh, you know, a worker someplace, etc. So they do different things, and when they do these different things, you they put on different hats. I mean, even when you bake a cake, you put on a few hats, right? The first hat is you got to first decide the recipe, so you have sort of the designer. Then you have to go the shopper, go get the material. Then you're the person that does the work, the technician, okay, that does the work. Then you're the decorator that decorates it, and then you're the friend that presents the cake to their friend on a birthday or whatever. Okay, all these different little hats that you have sort of trained yourself to do, or to do pretty good, or whatever. You've taken on them and developed some skill at it. Okay, these are your hats. Now, with training, you need to develop some hats as well. Okay, and that's the thing that we want to talk to a little bit. Now, one of the things we want to talk to a little bit about is what they are specifically a little bit, and we've already indicated a little bit about with the video. You want to make sure you have an unstuck hat, shall we say? Okay, but well, we're only going to talk about three of them. We're talking about coach. You're going to be your own coach. You're going to be the trainee or your player or whatever, the person getting trained. But also you need to have a nurturing hat, and of course we talked about the video or the want to keep yourself moving forward hat. Okay, that as well. Now, these hats aren't something you just normally pick up, and you don't want to force yourself to do it. You want to really get into them and develop them as things. Now, one of the things about work and school is there a specific time and place to produce a result. And there's a specific time when people put on certain hats to get a result or for a purpose. Okay, and that's what you want to sort of think of you initially when you start some of these hats. You might think that you need to get a time and a place to do it. When you're training, the coach might have to figure out the day before, because remember, getting started and doing things properly for a coach usually starts the day before, maybe the week before, figuring out what materials are needed, how he's going to do it, when it's going to happen, things of that nature. How is he going to make it so that the trainee is isolated enough so he can focus and has enough energy, and you've got the idea. As a coach, you have to figure these things out, okay? Because if your player's tired, they're not going to do as well. If there's a lot of distractions, they're not going to stay focused. So, as a coach, you need to figure these things out, and as the player or the trainee, you need to, so to speak, start, should we say, psych yourself up, have that good attitude that all coaches love. Okay, it's sort of like fight coding is going to be exhausting. It's going to be tough, hard, etc. You might think, but it's like the weightlifters. Okay, when weightlifters go in to lift weights, the weights are heavy, right? A lot of hard work, effort, time, etc. Okay, to get they lift again and again and again and again, and that's a little bit what training of all things is about. But weightlifters, when they push for something called the burn. Remember we talked about, you gotta show the subconscious what to do, and then you got to make it jealous. Okay, and also to do that, you also sort of need a trigger. Okay, when this subconscious, when you see this is the feeling you want. You know it's real. Okay, so with weightlifters, they push until their arms start to hurt, and most people, it's hurting, I'm gonna stop. No, it's not a sign to stop. It's time to push. See, with weightlifters, they know that's tearing down muscle that's going to rebuild stronger. So when they start feeling that the muscle's hurting, they push in the burn. They actually go for the burn. They try to get into it. So in you, when you're Vicoding, your brain's going to start to hurt. You want to go, yes, it's exciting because, my brain is starting to get this, and pretty soon, I'm going to be, just click, 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 So, so you're making your subconscious jealous of such an exciting thing. All right, so remember, you need to set a time to before you train to sort of get yourself maybe psyched up a little bit, or make sure you're rested, or whatever you need to do as a person being trained. Then, and again, you're always going to have times when it didn't go as good as you want, and you need to nurture yourself. You don't need to beat yourself. Oh, you stupid! You should have done this harder. It's like, okay, right, you've messed up. What can you do to move forward? You need to be like a tough love, or a mom who loves you and believes in you and knows you can do it, and just sort of helps you take a break sometimes when you need to take a break. And so nurture yourself, in a way where moms know how. Okay, now it's time to get off the couch and go out and do it. They know both when to rest and when to do it. So you need to be a good mom or dad to yourself. Okay, and of course, the tough talk about the videos at night to move yourself forward, and things of that nature. We need to make sure we do those as well. So now, Michael Gerber, he wrote a book called E-Myth Revisited, and he basically talked about these different hats for business person. Okay, most business people who get into business are technicians and really love to do their product, and they know they're the one making the business successful. Okay, but when they go into business, they find out they don't have any managerial skills, they don't have any sales skills, they don't have any vision of a business skill, how to grow it, and develop that level 2 so they can start to see something happen that's different than what it is, that actually grows and develops, so they get stuck. All right, so he actually talks about all these different things, and he talks about them, and he talks it in a way that a subconscious would fall in love with developing these hats. Okay, these skills. So just like as you're training yourself to Vicode, you're going to also train yourself to coach, train yourself to nurture yourself, train yourself to do these things. So anyway, anything you got to do is remember, got to make your subconscious jealous enough to do it. So he talks about all these different hats, and he talks about how wonderful they are, and how they, the technicians all in love with the product, whether they're musicians doing music or baking cakes or whatever skill they have. They talk about how these other hats totally support the other one, and they work together. And he really, like I say, makes the subconscious jealous and shows them how to do it, so it's just perfect, so it really works good. And that's it, yes, and he gets into it. So that's what I want you to do. So think of hats, and start thinking of all the things that you need to do to support yourself, so that you can train yourself to become the person you want to become. Vicoding University, training humans to train themselves.